Hi, everybody, and happy Wednesday to you. This is our new Region Weather Live day of the week. We're doing Sundays and Wednesdays now, especially during the winter season as we've got active weather around here. It's good to be with you tonight. I'm Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz. Hope you guys are doing well. We're halfway through the week, over halfway through the week, getting ready for a weekend that features lots of grocery shopping, and I'm sure just getting ready for the following week. So super excited about Thanksgiving. A lot to be thankful for here. Want to thank our early birds for joining us. Who do we have on board here? Christy's with us on our YouTube channel. Hi, Christy. Thanks for joining us. Oh, boy, power's out in Griffith. Let's go. Boy, yeah, that wind has been howling today, so I certainly we've had power outages from NIPSCO here as we gone throughout the afternoon, all across the Great Lakes from this wind as it's come in. Janice, hello to you. Susan says hello. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Kathy's with us. And Eni is with us. Hi, Eni. Thanks for joining us here. Certainly appreciate that. All right, let's dive into the forecasts. Oh, you lost me. There we are. Bottom corner. That's all I need to be. You don't need to see my face. Really quickly, I want to thank our sponsors. They get a bonus broadcast during the week, but just support them if you can. This stuff's all expensive to do all this. Everyone's asking for more money in terms of software usage and all that stuff. They keep it for free. FBIbuildings.com, the place to go if you need a new pole barn constructed. Commercial, residential. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. They do amazing work. FBIbuildings.com. Meals on Wheels. They're looking for drivers. Guys, if you're looking for a way to donate your time and donate yourself to help others, I mean, Thanksgiving's the time to do it, right? The Christmas season as well. Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana is looking for drivers to deliver meals. You get to deliver the actual product to someone who's going to be so happy to have that product that you get to deliver. And it's just, I mean, you're delivering smiles pretty much. If you're interested in doing that, call Faith at 219-756-3663. She'd be happy to set you up. Doesn't need to be a huge commitment, but you get to help out and volunteer and deliver meals to people who need that. And that sounds like a really good thing for the holiday season. PSA, that's our public service adjusters. Who are public service adjusters? Well, you have your insurance agency. You can go to them if you have an insurance claim, and they take forever. They'll shortchange you in terms of the money they give you. Or you can go to PSA. Those are local licensed insured adjusters here in Northwest Indiana. They're an awesome team of folks. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. What they will do, they'll come out, take pictures, and they'll do everything between you and the insurance company that you don't have to deal with. They'll do everything. They'll take care of the whole claim from front to back, and they'll get you more money than what you would typically get yourself. The win-win situation, publicserviceadjusting.com. TigerPlumbing.net, our wonderful plumbers here in the region. They remind us to close your outdoor water lines. So the line going to the garden hose, that should be closed off. You shut it off inside, put a cap on it outside. It is now time to shut down those hoses as we're going to be going below freezing. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go if you need a plumber. Minogue.life, that's our expert in the region for life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. Michael's just a wonderful person. He's been doing this for decades. And he says he's happy to review coverage with you guys. A lot of people sign up for coverage online, or they do it over the phone, and you don't know what benefits you have. So he would be more than happy to answer questions about your current coverage that you have. Minogue.life is the place to go to set up a consultation with him. He's a wonderful, friendly guy, and he knows his stuff, and he can save you some money or get you stuff that maybe you don't know that you need, or tell you what you have. So there's that. Last two here, Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She is our wonderful mortgage lender here in the region. She just does such a great job in her line of work. And refinancing is becoming a bigger thing now as rates start to drop. Maybe you got locked into a higher rate. She'd be happy to do that for you. But for all your mortgage lending needs, whether you need a new home, first home, or you're looking for your dream home, she'd be happy to help you do that. Again, it's Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl on Facebook. Go ahead, give her a like, a follow, and reach out to her messenger 24/7 if you need anything or you're in the market for that. Finally, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso, our wonderful car dealership here in the region. They've been with us for almost 3 years now. Just amazing. They do great work over there. Jeeps are ready to go. Four-wheel drive, yeah, you may need it here as we go over the next couple weeks. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. All right, let's dive into the forecast, shall we? Oh, Kate's on here. You're welcome, Kate. We appreciate you as well. All right, let's dive into the weather. This system's amazing, and it's kind of weird for this time of year. So what we've got going on, I took this over the last 3 days. You can see the low pressure. Here it was as it went by, circulating up towards Minnesota, kind of retrograded up into southern Canada, and now it's coming back at us. This thing is so wound up like a top. It's incredible. And what's interesting in terms of kind of the way things have evolved today, we had the rain that went by this morning, right? With the gusty winds that came in, the temperatures, you feel it. I mean, it's just cold outside now. And it's a little bit more harsh now than it would be if we weren't spoiled the last month and a half. I mean, normally late November, we have temperatures like this. We're like, oh, okay, it's not a bad day. But now it's like, this is awful, right? It's just been a while. That's all. And what's interesting is the rain that went by this morning is going up into Canada right now. And it's actually going to come back at us as snow tomorrow, which is just insane. Just the path this thing is traveling as it's winding up in the low. But it's also going to bring, when it went by this morning, it had obviously that warm air with it out ahead of it before the cold air hit. And it's taking that warm air up, and it's got that bubble of warm air, and it's going up into Canada. And that bubble of warm air is actually going to come back at us tomorrow evening. And so that rain that went by this morning, that air mass is going up into Canada, coming around, and it's actually going to be the thing that prevents us from getting a lot of snow over the next couple of days. It's going to warm us up tomorrow night and change a lot of this over to rain. So really fascinating how this system, it's very unique. Again, I've been in the world of meteorology for over 15 years now, and I haven't seen anything like this. It's just a unique system. That's all. It has nothing to do with, warming or anything like that. It's just a very unique system. It's not a carbon copy textbook winter storm. This one's very kind of challenging to forecast, and there's a lot of elements to it as well. So here it is coming back in. So let's kind of dive into where we're going in terms of the weather from here. Let me ask a question first, because all the major hubs right now are still producing light rain. All the radars are showing light rain. I would imagine, though, some of you have gotten grapple, or those little Dippin' Dots, kind of the little soft ice pellets that come in. I would imagine some of you have seen that. And is anyone seeing snow yet? Because I'm not seeing any reports of it. But I would imagine here shortly, we're going to either have some grapple mixing in, or I have already, or we're going to start to see some snowflakes mixing in as we get that colder core of air aloft. So let me know what you're seeing outside. You don't have to go out in it. Again, there's preset falling right now. You don't need to dive into that, but just let me know what you've seen so far. All right. So our forecast from here, here's this morning's rain. It's heading up into Canada. This comes back at us. All right. So keep your eye on that. Excuse me. We all have chronic cough here. As we go through time tonight, our rain showers that we have are going to change over to snow showers. Okay. We've got colder air coming in up above us and here at the surface. We're going to drop below freezing for a lot of spots tonight. All right. So some slick spots are possible tomorrow morning. I'm not expecting a lot of snow tonight, though. All right. We're just going to have hit or miss snow showers. It'll be maybe a burst of snow, and then it'll back off. Burst of snow will back off. We could have a cosmetic coating tomorrow morning, waking up on grassy surfaces. I don't expect any major issues to roads tomorrow morning, despite the fact we're dropping below freezing. Okay. So let's kind of get that off our chests here this evening. But you can see the snow showers as they continue throughout the overnight. They'll continue to come in waves. We may get a little bit more than a cosmetic coating in northern Porter and LaPorte counties from a little lake effect as the lake starts to get involved. But watch this rain. Here's our morning rain. Keep your eye on that. Watch how it goes up and around. And here it comes again tomorrow. This is a deepening area of low pressure that's going to develop tonight into tomorrow. This is the one we've been anticipating. And this deepening area of low pressure is going to come south across the lake. That's what makes it unique. This is a very kind of weird system, right? We don't typically see low pressures that strengthen and come at us from the north, like directly from the north. And so what this is going to do, our winds are going to start to ramp up tomorrow morning. All right. That morning commute tomorrow, we're going to have snow that's trying to work in from the north. Timing on this is anywhere between that morning rush hour and just after the morning rush hour, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So the timing still kind of varies on it because it's still kind of wrapping up and heading into Canada. We have to see how it evolves. But either way, we're going to go from snow showers on and off tonight into tomorrow morning with isolated slick spots. We're going to go from that to this, where we get this big chunk of snow that just comes south across the lake, big area of organized snow. And we're going to have some good rates with that. We're also going to get a real good gust of wind when it first hits, and the wind's going to continue throughout it. So we're probably going to have I would say, a good 3 to 4 hour window tomorrow morning, especially the latter half of the morning into midday, where we're getting some good snow. And I think there'll be big wet snowflakes. We're going to have howling wind. We'll have gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour, lakeshore erosion and flooding, Porter County especially. That's certainly possible. The waves are just kicking up on Lake Michigan, 10 to 15 footers last I checked. But a lot of you aren't swimming or boating, so that's okay. But in terms of our weather here locally, I think we're going to have impactful snow tomorrow morning. And, a couple things that I've seen people mention, and I've had a couple questions coming in, some private messages on Region Weather about, hey, is this going to stick tomorrow? Isn't it too warm? Aren't the roads too warm, et cetera? And tonight we're going to go below freezing. So road temperatures are probably going to drop to 36, 35 degrees, somewhere around there. But tomorrow, the snowfall rate may be decent enough later in the morning to what it does when you get a lot of snow and it's not all able to melt before more snow falls on top of it. It immediately changes to like this little layer of ice, okay, on area roadways. And so that road temperature just went from 36 to 35, 34, 33, 32, okay? So if we get a high enough snowfall rate, it doesn't matter if the ground's been warm and if the road's been warm. We've just laid down a layer of ice on there that will help that snow to start accumulating on roads, okay? I'm not anticipating a huge issue tomorrow, okay? If this was January and this was happening, we would say, oh man, please, couple inches of snow, not a big deal. But it's our first one of the season, and that's always kind of a little bit more difficult for drivers. It's more exciting for us because it's still festive at this point, right? We're not sick of the snow yet. And so I could see a couple inches of snow, mainly slushy snow, accumulating from this. And again, that primary time frame would be tomorrow morning into midday. All right, despite the fact it's middle of the day. You also have to take in mind our sun angle right now. Our sun angle right now is we're about a month out. Yeah, about a month out from the first day of winter. You take that and put it on the other side. So if you take winter, which starts 21st or whatever, you take that into January, our sun angle is comparable to mid to late January. And that's not a very strong sun angle at all. It's some of the weakest sun that we can get out of the year, despite the fact it's coming through clouds, right? If it were March and the sun was still coming through the clouds, it'd melt the snow immediately, okay? So low sun angle, right? A lot of weak solar radiation coming in, and the fact that we're going to have decent snowfall rates tomorrow, I could see an impactful time frame, especially latter half of that morning rush hour into the midday hours, okay? So just have note with that. We'd have snowflakes flying and we'd have strong winds around, okay? Cold temperatures too. It's going to feel like the 20s all day tomorrow. As we go through time, remember I mentioned that warm air. I'm going to back it up. Here's where the warm air was right here, okay? This was out ahead of the front. That warm air is also going to go up and around. And notice how tomorrow it's going to be snowing here, but raining up in Canada and up near Duluth in northern Michigan, the UP of Michigan. I mean, that's backwards, right? And that's what's weird about this system. That warmer air that it grabbed when it went by and took up into Canada, that warmer air is eventually going to make it in here. And so as we get towards the latter half of the afternoon and the evening tomorrow, we'll probably have some snow on the ground. But in terms of precip falling, we're going to turn to some light rain and some drizzle and probably getting a little foggy around here too. We're not going to have any issues snow or ice-wise by afternoon into the evening. Isn't that fascinating? It's just so backwards the way the system's working. And then what will happen from there, we're going to turn to mainly lake effect rain Thursday night into Friday. We'll have a wind off the lake. It's going to be a cold rain. Yuck, right? If it's going to be cold, let it snow. That is not going to be the case as that rain continues. All right. So let's talk how much. This isn't a blockbuster storm, but again, impact is all that matters. And if you're out traveling tomorrow, we may have some impacts from some of that slippery travel around here. So this is the latest HRRR model, and you can see this is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Not much, just a trace of some slushy snow on grassy surfaces. And then there's that burst of snow that comes in here tomorrow, late morning, midday into early afternoon. And it's not a lot, but a couple inches are certainly possible where the core of that goes through. So I would say 1 to 3 inches locally here. And again, most of that's tomorrow afternoon. A lot of that's slush. Okay, there's that. All right. So as we go through time, not much more snow beyond that, turns to rain. The other thing I want to touch on is the wind. Here are your wind gusts tomorrow. Notice how it's breezy. Yes, it's breezy tonight. We've got winds gusting to 25. Nothing off the charts tonight. But here comes that chunk of snow tomorrow. And when it hits, boy, we're going to have winds that gust 30 to 40 miles per hour. The HRRR's a little bit further west with it, bringing the bulk of it into Illinois. Either way, we'll get some gusty winds around here as that low goes right overhead. The other thing is, if you're a migraine sufferer, a lot of you that suffer from migraines can maybe get them because you feel the weather. I have a couple coworkers that feel the weather. They feel when a storm's coming in. You're probably going to feel this tomorrow because this is a deep area of low pressure that's going to get deeper, and it's going to go right over Northwest Indiana. So those that suffer from migraines, maybe pop the ibuprofen a little bit early tomorrow. As this moves in, that low will be right over us by afternoon tomorrow. Okay. So there's that. Just a little PSA for my migraine friends out there. I get it. And then the winds kind of remain, on the gusty side after that. All right. So that is what we're dealing with tomorrow. Okay. Not a huge storm, but some snow around, especially as we get just beyond that morning rush hour. We'll have that big area of snow moving in. You'll see it on radar coming in. And then we'll change over to some drizzle later on tomorrow and tomorrow night. We have no issues in terms of slippery travel tomorrow night or Friday morning. It's going to be all lake effect rain at that point. Okay. All right. Let's fast forward because things get interesting next week. So those folks that know me, I do the morning show. Okay. So I'm up 2 a.m. We're on air at 4:30, till 7 o'clock. And then we do cut-ins all day, blah, blah, blah. All right. This usually the morning runs of models, okay, which is the 0Z model run. It's usually not the most accurate. Most of the models, the most accurate model runs there that come out, okay, there's 4 model runs a day per major model. So the Euro and the GFS, the American, and the GEM, the Canadian, which is the other one I look at. All 3 of those, the deterministic models, are run 4 times a day. Okay, so you get 4 model runs. And what a model run is it gives us new data as a meteorologist, okay? The 12Z is the most accurate. That's the one that comes out early afternoon. And the reason why is it's ingesting a lot of data over what's happening right now. So it takes actual facts of what the weather's doing right now around the world and around the country, and it imports that into their algorithms. I know this is too much, but it imports that in their algorithms, and it spits out more than likely the most accurate forecasts that you can get per day with those model runs, because it's taking actual information that's happening and putting it in. All right. The subsequent model runs, the 18Z and then the 0Z, what I'm talking about, that's the one I get to look at in the morning. Both of those, and the 6Z as well, all of those take some information from what's actually happening, but a lot of it they base off of what the 12Z said, all right, in terms of the model. Okay. So if the 12, and here's my point, if the 12Z is off, all right, then the 18Z run is going to be off. Then the 0Z, the one I'm looking at as a morning meteorologist, is going to be off, all right? And they're all off until it kind of recorrects at 12Z again, okay? Does that make sense? All this to say, and that's a little weather insider baseball for you. I know some of you like that. All that to say, the run that I looked at this morning of the GFS showed a snowstorm around here on Thanksgiving. It was the only one that had that. And I mentioned it on air a couple of times. I said, you know what? Here's what I'm expecting for Thanksgiving week. We've got an active pattern. We've got to keep an eye on it. But just to let you know, the GFS, the American model, is showing a snowstorm. Okay, so we can't rule anything out, but I'm not buying that model right now because it's a 0Z and it's also the GFS. Okay, there's that. Well, wouldn't you know it, I'm looking at the 12Zs this afternoon, and they're coming in, and they seem to be latching on to this idea that there's going to be some kind of big storm around here for Thanksgiving, all right? We know it's an active pattern. There's an active storm track just right over us, so anything can happen with that. But it's interesting. They're starting to converge on a solution now, which brings some very impactful weather in here. So that's what I want to dive into next, all right? We'll show that, and then at the end, we'll answer questions as we always do. But here we go. As we go through time, this is the 12Z Euro run from today. All right, here's our snow showers tonight. All right, as we go throughout the day tomorrow, there's your bursts of snow that comes in here as we get into the latter half of the morning, midday hours. Changes to rain. Everything looks good. Not good. I mean, it's yucky, but it looks good in terms of consensus. And then in terms of our rain, our lake effect rain should wind down sometime Saturday morning. All right. We may wake up dry Saturday morning, but I would probably linger that rain as we go to Saturday. If you have weekend plans, Saturday afternoon looks good. Sunday looks good as well. All right. We'll start to warm up on Sunday. Nothing crazy, but we will be warm around here and dry. Okay. On into Monday and Tuesday. All right. There's a cold front that's going to go by, and this cold front doesn't have a lot of time to grab Gulf of Mexico moisture. So it's going to pass by with some moisture, but nothing crazy. But this cold front is going to bring in colder air. All right. And that colder air is key for the next storm system because it will settle down south of us. Okay. That's what it looks like right now. All right. And we're getting closer to it where accuracy is getting pretty good on this. So here goes the front. Maybe some showers around here Monday. Here's the colder air settling in. We've got northwest wind. Okay. This is Tuesday. A lot of you may be getting an early start to grandma's house on Tuesday. Okay. Big travel week next week. Just FYI. We'll have some lake effect rain around here as it looks right now on Tuesday. Temperatures in the 40s, just kind of chilly. Okay. But we've set the stage with cold air now across the Great Lakes in place. Okay. Wednesday, we'll fast forward to that. Euro says we're fine. This would be great for travel across the Great Lakes if this were to verify. But then Wednesday night into Thursday, this is Thanksgiving. Ruh-roh. Here we go. Big area of low pressure, the Euro says, coming out of Kansas. And this would be, there's all sorts of names for winter storms. This one, to me, looks like it would be a panhandle hook. All right. These usually form in the panhandle of Oklahoma area or Texas, either way, and they kind of hook their way up here. All right. So we'll see if that happens. But this is kind of what it deals with in terms of weather-wise. We get some wind around here. This is Thanksgiving evening. We've turned that wind and cold air into a combination of some rain changing over to wet snow. That could be heavy. This is Thursday night and a Friday. We now have a full-blown snowstorm across the area. Temperatures would be just above freezing, so it'd be a heavy wet snow. All right. And then at the end of it, as we usually do, we turn back to drizzle again. All right. That would move out. And then we deal with another storm system the following Monday, December 2nd. And then another storm system after that. There would be another one on the West Coast, just one after another lining up around here. But that Thanksgiving one is interesting. All right. So what we're going to look at next, I'm going to go up to the same time here. Okay. This is Monday next week. I'm going to change over to the GFS. This is the American model. It agrees. Maybe some rain developing with a frontal boundary on Monday. The GFS has drier weather on Tuesday. GFS starts this system going on Wednesday, so it's a little bit quicker, and it evolves it a little bit differently. But you can see by Wednesday night into Thursday, we have a full-blown snowstorm across the Ohio Valley, stretching back into Indiana, all right? And we're on the northern end of that. That's the snowy end of things. The GFS has us kind of drying out into next weekend with some cooler air. It has another system coming in with very cold air to start December, and then just active pattern after that with several storm systems. Its track is further north, all right? Reason why we can't lock into this, and I was looking at all of the ensemble members as well, and a lot of the ensembles have this solution. A lot of them don't, okay? So we can't lock into the snowstorm solution yet, all right? We have to tread carefully. You're probably going to see all of the basement meteorologists, no problem. They're doing great. You're probably going to see them start posting this stuff online, okay, that there's a major snowstorm coming Thanksgiving. Click here, click on our website, give us money, blah, 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 okay? Be prepared to see that on Facebook and TikTok and all this stuff, all right? We cannot responsibly lock into that solution yet. And the reason why is because not all the ensemble members agree at all on this thing developing. And I'll show you the Canadian model, which I tend to like sometimes in the winter. Everyone makes fun of me for that in the meteorology world, at least my coworkers. But this has a much different solution. It has cold air coming in, but it has no system developing at all. All right. Same time frame. It has lake effect snow for Thanksgiving and cold air. All right. So that just shows you that there's not consensus yet amongst this. But it's something we need to keep an eye on. All right. We need to keep an eye on this forecast for next week. We've still got plenty of time. All right. We're over a week away. Well, a week away now, but something we'll need to watch. Just for fun, I would never recommend this, but you know, we always like to do this. This is the last thing I'll talk about. Let's just look at snowfall totals to see what's possible next week. Okay. This is not accurate. And again, I'm not saying this is going to be our snowfall amounts. But I just want to see what the storm's capable of because I like to look at it, and I like to show you the stuff that I like to look at. So here we go. All right. This is the Euro model. I mean, this is legit next week, right? Anywhere from a foot to 17 inches across all of Northwest Indiana next week, says the Euro. And the GFS, pretty similar in terms of that strip of snow, not quite as heavy. It's got anywhere from 4 to 8, maybe even 9 to 10 down in Newton and Jasper counties with heavier amounts down towards Indianapolis. All right. So that being said, I'm going to get off this screen because some people are going to join us and they're going to say, whoa, Matt's saying all this snow for next week. That is not the case. All right. We'll take you through kind of a loop of what's going to happen here over the next couple of days. So that's it. Snowy winter, here we come, right? I've been saying I think we're going to have a snowier winter, and which doesn't say much, but it certainly looks like this pattern and some of the air masses that are settling in Canada are going to be conducive towards a snowier pattern around here. And we're just getting started as it feels like right now. Okay. All right. That's all I got for you. In terms of questions, go ahead, throw them in the chat. This is the snowfall model I agree with in terms of how the next 36 hours evolve the best, with anywhere from 1 to 3 inches across the region. Okay. All right. Let me get back, see if we've got some questions. I'm going to start. JP, I see your question first. Will this be a lake effect event or just lake enhance? Any concerns for a ground blizzard? So JP, in terms of the ground blizzard, we typically need a light fluffy. That's a great question. We typically need light fluffy snow for that. And the snow, the way the snow is, whether it be wet or fluffy or light or big crystals, small crystals, all has to do with the temperature. And we're going to have a temperature tomorrow that's going to be slightly above freezing. So these are going to be wet snowflakes. I'm not concerned with a ground blizzard because this stuff is going to stick. All right. It's going to stick to the sides of trees. It's going to stick to the bushes and the side of your car. So I don't anticipate a ground blizzard. So there's that. That's to answer your question. And in terms of lake effect, this tomorrow is actually system snow that's moving in. There may be some lake enhancement with it, with that cold air coming across. But overall, this is a system snow. That's why you'll see that 2 to 4 or the 1 to 3, 2 to 4 maybe inch total stretch all the way down towards southern Indiana because it's the system coming in. So once the lake effect gets going, JP, it's going to be rain at that point. All right. So if it were, 5-10 degrees colder with this system, we would have a decent lake effect event at the end of it. And we'd probably be dealing with ground blizzard because it would be fluffier snow. So there's that. A lot of you feeling the migraines. I'm sorry. I know. I just want to give you the heads up. So there's that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the migraine comments. So sorry. All right. Is all this now? Darren's asking a good question. Is all this snow activity next week after Thanksgiving? So, Darren, it's a little too early to call on the snow activity next week. But as of right now, those 2 storms that develop next week, we're looking at a Thanksgiving development. So it would be either Wednesday night into Thanksgiving or it would be Thanksgiving into Friday with both of those. So, I mean, that's impactful travel time, right? Wednesday's not a day you mess around with weather-wise, especially with everyone trying to get to their destination. I know they're saying this is going to be the busiest travel day ever in the U.S. They keep saying that, but, last holiday was, and this one looks to be as well. So a lot of people are going to be on the roads and hitting errors for sure. All right. Yeah, Tyler, I feel that way too. I mean, we'll see, we'll see. I mean, this system is a good example. This could be all snow and it's not. I mean, we are mixing with some rain in the backside. So, is that a product of the warming? We'll see. But overall, I do feel confident saying this winter is going to be a snowy one. I really do feel that way. Yeah. Oh boy, Brittany, thanks for that update on that. Brittany says mom works for INDOT and says that if it gets bad, we're all screwed. Guess they're short on plow trucks. That's interesting. The shortages affect every single business there is, and I wouldn't be surprised if they affect INDOT. So hopefully, I mean, those men and women that work and plow our roads, I know they get a lot of bad rap when the roads are bad, but there are people that are leaving their families to work sometimes double or triple shifts just to keep our roads clear for us so we can do our thing. So let's give them some respect. I know we all do in region weather, but I think just people in general need to give our INDOT workers a little bit more respect. They work hard and they work awful hours too, kind of like me. All right. Yeah, Melanie. Yeah, that's a good question, Melanie. Yeah, I do think there's going to be school tomorrow. I don't think this is going to be a blockbuster storm that shuts things down. As long as the snow can kind of hold off till after that rush hour, it would impact during the school day, right? And then when school's over, we'd probably saying goodbye to it and changing over to some rain. So the impacts aren't going to be huge on this, but again, slick travel is certainly possible with some snow covering of area roadways if these rates can get high enough, all right? Samantha, good question. So we're talking probably the latter half of the morning rush hour tomorrow, okay? Right now, the models range from anywhere between 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to some of them have it arriving at noon. So anytime then, we're going to see the snow coming off the lake, and it'll be heavy for a while for that. Kathy says, hey, Matt, thank you for helping out with the Orlando trip. Good. Safe flight there and back. Perfect weather. Oh, so good. Yeah, I got a little colder on the last day. Yeah, I thought you had some rain down there, Kathy. That's why I don't forecast for Florida. It certainly looked like it. There's that. Danielle's traveling to Cincinnati tomorrow evening, returning home on Friday night. Well, your Friday night would be good coming back, Danielle. Your trip down, I don't think would be too crazy. It depends on if you're leaving tomorrow evening, travel to Cincinnati tomorrow evening. Danielle, if you're going tomorrow evening, you should be okay. Yeah, we're going to change over to mainly rain then. Cincinnati would change over to mainly rain then too. And there would be dry times in between. So yeah, tomorrow evening you'd be okay. And you'll have a real gusty wind that blows you down to Cincinnati too. So you should get some really good gas mileage on the way down. We'll see. Brittany, I feel you. I'll hope for the best for you. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think if this storm, again, we're in January, we'd be saying, oh, this isn't much of anything really. So we'll see. Let's see. Mike's with us. Mike, thanks for joining us. That big Thanksgiving storm won't be for Indiana. Okay, Mike does not want the snow, and that's okay. We'll see what happens there, Mike. I hope you're right. Let's see. Kathy says, will it actually stick? My husband keeps saying the ground is too warm. Yeah, Kathy, we talked about that top of the broadcast. So the ground is warm right now, but we're going to go down below freezing tonight. So that ground temperature will probably go down 38, 37. Road temps will go down 36, 35. Okay, it's still above freezing. If we get a heavy enough snowfall rate tomorrow, that initial snowfall rate, if it's heavy enough to keep snowing before it's able to melt on the road and the grass too, it'll lower that temperature to freezing on the road and on the grass, all right? Because it's snow and it's ice. And that will enable the snow to start piling up on top of it. And I'm not talking like pile up. But I do think if we get a heavy enough snowfall rate, which I'm anticipating with this band coming off the lake tomorrow, this big area, we could certainly have snowy roads as well. All right. Briefly, once the snow relaxes, everything should start to melt a little bit and get a little bit better. Okay. Rich, yeah, those colors on the map are really great. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, grocery stores. I mean, we're dealing with it already. Our grocery store was already busy, and my wife and I are planning, what we need to get and stuff like that when we're going to do our shopping. I'm sure everyone's doing that right now. So there's that. Darren, that's really nice of you to say. I don't know if that's accurate, but Matt is the only guy that 99% of the time nails it. Yeah. I'm working on 100%, Darren, but it's interesting about meteorology and the way I view it. I always want to get better. All right. And so I'll take notes on what my forecast is for different systems. And I've been doing this for probably 8 or 9 years now in terms of the note taking. And I'll go back and compare. If I'm wrong, I get mad at myself. I'm like, gosh, I should have seen that, or I should have seen this. And I'll compare. And next time, hopefully, I'll learn. And so I don't know a lot of meteorologists that do that, and they kind of do their own thing. I mean, there's accurate people all over the place, but I want to get better every single forecast. And so I'm taking kind of like the model data is doing, taking what happened and figuring out what went wrong and putting that into their next forecast. I'm doing the same thing with mine. So just kind of behind the scenes in terms of that. Yeah, Brittany, it's pretty brutal outside. I mean, it probably does feel like 29 degrees. It's just, the problem is we've had such warm weather over the course of the fall that we're spoiled, and this feels awful. And normally this would feel great. We'd say, oh, it's not even that bad. It's only, 35 degrees outside. Emily, you're welcome on that. Kathy, we would have a brief ice layer if we were to get that snow to accumulate, all right, because they get crunched down by the cars and all that stuff. But that ice isn't going to last. Again, by later in the afternoon tomorrow into the evening, we're going to get warmer air in aloft and here at the surface. And so any snow is going to start to change over to rain and drizzle, and then it's going to kind of end and it'll be kind of drizzly. So I anticipate no problems by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. All right. We're talking all rain after that. Temps stay above freezing all the way until I think Sunday or Saturday night. We may dip below freezing in spots. So the trouble spot is going to be tomorrow morning. All right. And especially the latter half of the morning into midday hours. Melanie, you're welcome for sure. And you're welcome as well. Let's see. Elaine, I see your comment on migraines. That's a lot, but I'll read it later. Let's see. So Cheyenne, I know what time. Anyone know what time for tomorrow for Hebron? I know. And we can answer, or Cheyenne, we can answer that for you because it's Facebook Live and we can actually chat. You can chat with a real life meteorologist. Hello, we're dancing. Anyway, so yes, tomorrow we're expecting snow showers tonight. May have a little cosmetic coating tomorrow morning on your car. Might need to scrape some off. Not a big deal tomorrow morning until the latter half of the morning. So I'm thinking after the morning rush hour through midday, we're going to get a burst of snow coming off the lake. All right. Not lake effect, it's system snow. And that's what you see here in this accumulation forecast. It's going to put down some snow in a hurry. We'll have real strong winds with it as well. And conditions are going to kind of go downhill. And we could see some of the snow on the roads. It will start to accumulate on grassy surfaces. 1 to 3 inches looks pretty good in my book in terms of snowfall. All right. That's interesting, JP. Good question, buddy. You come up with the best questions. I always say that. How much does storm origin influence precip type? Like, is it a Manitoba Mauler or an Alberta Clipper or Panhandle, etc.? So, JP, in terms of amount of precip, it matters where the source of that precip's coming from. So, our Manitoba storms and our Saskatchewan storms and Alberta storms, they typically don't have a lot of moisture. They're of Pacific origin, right? So they're bringing in Pacific Ocean moisture. It's got to go all the way across the country, and there's usually not a ton left. So that's why those storm systems will typically put down 1 to 3 inches real fast. They have a lot of wind, and they have a dry, fluffy snow because they're from Canada, right? There's not a lot of moisture. We tend to get more snow off of those if lake effect gets involved, but that's not dealing with that system. That's dealing with Lake Michigan. Panhandle systems and systems that come up from the south that grab Gulf of Mexico moisture, those are a different beast, right? Those are the ones that produce the real heavy snow. When we get blizzards around here, they've got that Gulf of Mexico moisture connection. And so that's why next week's storm looks particularly interesting, because there's going to be a lot of moisture in that storm system. If it develops is the biggest question. And if it does develop, where is that rain snow line? How heavy is it? Where does the low go? How does it phase? There's a lot of questions around storms, but boy, that next week's storm system could be a doozy if that ends up holding true. So we'll see. Yeah, Jessica, too early to tell at this point, but the models are hinting at some kind of bigger storm system that develops either Wednesday night into Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving night into Friday. We'll have to see, but again, the Euro is putting out over a foot of snow on us. The GFS putting out 4 to 8 inches. It's early. We're a week away. It will change, but they're grasping some kind of storm system, and that's the thing I'm queuing in on, is that we'll have something around here for sure. Rhonda, yeah, thank you for that. Our YouTube channel is growing. I'm trying to inorganically grow it. I don't really care. I don't care about likes and stuff like that. But I do know that our YouTube channel, if we can get to 1,000 subscribers on there, we'll have different live capabilities on there, which we weren't able to do, like going live from phone and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. I mean, if you guys can subscribe on YouTube, that would be I don't want to say big help because I don't really care that much, but you will get alerted when we do live videos and stuff like that. So hopefully we both get something out of that, right? Heather says, I have a newly licensed 16-year-old on the road. Oh, my goodness, Heather, I feel you. We're not there yet in our house. We're about halfway there, but I can only understand. Yeah, so, well, you can teach what you can teach, right? And in terms of teaching, I'm sure you've got that down, but, you got to start breaking early and soft, all right? That's what I'm going to teach my kids when we're out, if there's any snow on the road. The other thing is, and this is a good winter tip, you got to keep your eye on that car thermometer, all right? Especially if it's raining outside in the winter, because if it's raining outside in the winter and that car thermometer says 31 or 30, that is freezing rain, and that's going to develop a layer of ice on anything untreated. So those are the 2 winter things that I can give you. But, some people I've heard say, drive like your grandma's crock pots in the back seat or something, or on your lap. I don't know. There's all sorts of goofy things that I've heard, that there's like eggs on the car. I don't know, all sorts of things. But yeah, got to leave that distance and brake nice and soft and early, and don't go too fast. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Dale asked a good question. Hi, Dale. Dale says, hey, Matt, you see any more weird warm days in December? I know past few Decembers we had 60-degree days and severe weather to follow. Yeah, Dale, that's a good question. It's too early to tell on that. We can't accurately get beyond 10 to 15 days and say, here's what we see. I would imagine we'll have something of the sort. Again, like you mentioned, and I agree with you, every December we seem to have some kind of system that would come, and it would be a low pressure out towards the plains. All right. If we get a deep low out towards Oklahoma or Nebraska by chance, that would bring that warm air out of the Gulf out ahead of that system. So we'll see. But as of right now, that storm track is centered right across southern Ohio, southern Indiana, which really prevents any warm air intrusions from coming in here. Last couple of years, we've had El Nino winters, and as a result, our storm track has been basically from Texas up through Indiana. So we've been on the warm side of every system. All the snow was in the upper Midwest. not this season, baby. Things are a little different so far to start, and I'm expecting them to stay different. We could get into that pattern, sure, for a week or so, but it does look a lot different this winter. So I think our chances for that are lower this winter than previous winters, but we'll see. I mean, things can change every single week, so we'll see. Yeah, Maxwell, they do, and I've noted that that some of the models are showing a warm up as we get into the other half of December. First half is looking cold on most of the modeling. Again, we'll see. A lot of the models, especially some of the long range models, don't pick up on cold very well anymore. So they'll start to do that, 5, 6, 7 days out when you're like, yeah, of course. I mean, all the other models are saying it's going to get cold. So, long-term forecasting has some growth to be having. All right. Cheyenne says, I have friends coming from Detroit next Friday. How's that going to be? Well, Cheyenne, that might be interesting. That was that storm system we were showing you about that may bring some decent snow to the area next Thursday and Friday. So just make sure you and your friends are staying tuned to the forecast from that. Doesn't have to be from me. We'll have the forecast, but just make sure you guys are locked in to that forecast, because there could be some kind of big storm system around again next Wednesday, Thanksgiving into Friday, which is not the best time to have storm systems with all the travel. Okay. You're welcome, Kathy. That's awesome. I did see that. No, I commented on it. That's great. I'm glad he had a good time down in Orlando. That's awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I think we answered most of your questions here. And we've now gone 45 minutes. That's the quickest 45 minutes of my life. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, we're doing Region Weather Live Sundays and Wednesdays now. If there's a major snowstorm or something like that, we'll throw it in another day as well. But it's that busy time of year for us as meteorologists, and I just want to make sure you guys are up to date on the latest so you're not caught off guard by weather. I mean, that's kind of what affects us all, right? All right, we're on the radio side of things, X-Rock 103.9, Indiana 105, and Z 107.1. We do daily talks backs with them, and you'll catch region weather forecasts all day long on those. Also, quick reminder, regionweather.com. If you go over to the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see sign up for daily email. I put together a handcrafted email every morning specifically for Northwest Indiana. I'll make a graphic that goes with it, and I'll send it out, and it'll go right to your inbox. And so you can just look at that and say, hey, Matt wrote this for me in my area today. It's not a computer or AI thing. And that's it. And that's usually all we send is one a day. It's not overload. We don't sell your information or anything like that. So if you would be so kind to sign up for that, that would be awesome. I love talking to you guys in the morning on there. It always feels special because I'm like, oh, people are going to wake up to this email. It just feels good. All right. Thank you guys for your time. Certainly appreciate that. We'll keep you updated. Again, just be careful on the roads tomorrow once that snow hits as it moves in from the north. Okay. It's here. Winter's here. All right. Great. See ya.